Fans have been eagerly waiting to hear anything about Frozen 3. And finally, there's been a bit of an update, even if it's kind of vague. Jared Bush, who's deeply involved in Disney animation, recently spoke about the third movie in a massively popular Frozen series. While he didn't reveal any plot points, what he did share definitely hints that the creative team is taking things seriously and building something that stays true to what people love about the franchise. The original Frozen, released in 2013, really flipped the typical Disney princess formula on its head. Instead of centering around the love story, it focused on the bond between two sisters, Anna and Elsa. And with iconic songs like Let It Go and lovable characters like Olaf, the movie became a global sensation. Then came Frozen 2 in 2019, which might not have been quite as groundbreaking, but it still delivered emotionally and visually while further developing the characters we already cared about. So, when Disney officially confirmed not just Frozen 3, but also a fourth movie, fans naturally got excited and curious. In his interview with Collider, Bush was asked whether Frozen 3 and 4 would be connected as a two-part story. His answer didn't give much away, but it suggested that the focus for now is completely on the third movie. According to him, what's being developed is phenomenal, and the return to Arendelle with these familiar characters is shaping up to be something special. He emphasized that the journey they're creating feels like a natural continuation rather than something forced. Bush also explained that when it comes to storytelling, he believes in giving each movie the attention it deserves. He said the team wants Frozen 3 to be the best story it could be without getting too caught up in trying to immediately set up the next one. That doesn't mean Frozen 4 won't follow from it. It just means their priority is getting this next chapter right before jumping ahead. And since Frozen wouldn't be Frozen without its music, Bush also touched on the songs. He mentioned that the new soundtrack is closely tied to character development, just like in the first two movies. He didn't give away any titles or lyrics, but he seemed pretty excited about how the songs will reflect the emotional journeys of Anna, Elsa, and whoever else is along for the ride. In fact, he even hinted that some of the music might surprise audiences in a good way. So, what does all this mean for Frozen 3? Basically, Disney is still fully behind the franchise and clearly wants to uphold the high standard it has set for itself. When a movie is as beloved as Frozen, there's always the risk that any sequel could fall flat. Historically, Disney hasn't always hit the mark with sequels to its princess films. A lot of those follow-ups ended up feeling unnecessary, more like bonus content for kids rather than meaningful continuations. But Frozen 4 proved it's possible to make a sequel that deepens the characters and expands the world without losing what made the original so good. It built on the themes of identity, purpose, and love. Not romantic love this time, but the deep connection between sisters that made it much more than just a cash grab. And Bush seems to be saying that they want Frozen 3 to follow that same path. He also made it clear that Frozen 3 is being developed with care, not speed. And that matches what Josh Gad, the voice of Olaf, said during an appearance on The Spotlight with Jessica Shaw. According to him, the reason we won't see Frozen 3 until late 2027 is because the creative team doesn't want to rush anything. Gad stressed that no one involved views the sequel as just another moneymaker. They all want it to be truly worthy of continuing the story that began in 2013, but he did hint that what's coming is going to be amazing. So, even though it's a long wait, it sounds like it'll be worth it. Now, some fans might be wondering if this third movie can live up to the legacy of the first two. After all, Frozen was a cultural phenomenon, and even Frozen 2, while a bit more divisive among critics, was still a huge commercial success. In fact, it brought in even more money at the global box office than the first one, earning around $1.45 billion compared to the original's $1.28 billion. That said, Frozen 2 did take a small hit when it came to critic scores. It dropped to 77% on Rotten Tomatoes, while Frozen scored 89%. Still, fans seemed to love it, giving it an audience score of 92%, which even topped the first movie's audience rating. So, if Frozen 3 can hit the same sweet spot, it's got a solid chance of becoming another blockbuster. Of course, there's added pressure this time around. That's because Inside Out 2 recently overtook Frozen 2 as the highest-grossing animated movie of all time, earning a staggering $1.698 billion. So now Frozen 3 not only has to meet fan expectations, it also has to reclaim its crown if Disney hopes to keep this franchise at the very top of the animation world. Some people might be worried that the long gap between movies could work against Frozen 3. After all, it will have been 8 years since Frozen 2 by the time the third movie comes out. And because the franchise mainly targets younger audiences, there's a risk that those kids will have aged out of it by then. But there's a strong counter to that argument. Frozen is still incredibly accessible on Disney+, so the franchise continues to bring in new fans all the time. Plus, we've seen other movies come back after long breaks and do just fine. Look at Avatar, The Way of Water. That movie came out 13 years after the original, and it still made billions. So, while a long wait can sometimes hurt momentum, it doesn't have to, especially when the franchise is as beloved as Frozen. There's also something kind of exciting about the idea that Frozen 3 might be part of a two-part finale. It will be the first time a Disney princess story unfolds over two connected films, and that kind of long-form storytelling could really help the writers explore more complex themes or build toward a bigger emotional payoff. Jared Bush hasn't confirmed that's the plan, but based on how much care is being put into crafting Frozen 3, it wouldn't be surprising if there's a soft cliffhanger leading into the fourth movie. In the meantime, while the official marketing for Frozen 3 hasn't started yet, it's clear there's a bunch of work happening behind the scenes. The team is reportedly very excited about the story they're building. Both Bush and Gad have made it clear that this isn't just about repeating old successes. It's about evolving the characters and telling a story that really means something, just like the first two did. And even though we still don't know much about the plot, it's a safe bet that Anna and Elsa will continue to grow as leaders. That's something Bush hinted at too, that their personal growth as queens is central to the direction the story is going. So whether Elsa explores her powers more or Anna finds herself in new leadership challenges, the third movie will likely dig deeper into their journeys as individuals and sisters. At the end of the day, Frozen May 3rd not be arriving anytime soon, but Disney seems to understand the weight of expectation. They know how much the franchise means to fans of all ages, and they appear committed to getting it right. With Frozen 4 already confirmed, it's clear the story of Arendelle isn't wrapping up just yet. If Frozen 3 can hit the same emotional and creative highs as its predecessors, and maybe even try something new, it could be one of Disney's biggest animated hits yet. And that's that for today's video. Thanks for watching, and we will see you in the next one. Your suggestions for future videos are always welcome in the comments below. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to stay in the loop. And if you want, you can share your thoughts about this video in the comments.